Hello guys, welcome back to another episode of Elder Scrolls Lore, and before we begin today, make a shout out to the Discord chat. Feel free to join in, link in the description below or the channel header, as well as a shout out to Aries' channel. The link is in the description below. It's where I get my music from, and the guy is very, very talented. He has a wide variety of music you can find on his channel, from fantasy, medieval, this stuff, to other video game and gaming songs. Highly recommend you check it out. Great channel. So I wanted to address my audio, and in the recent couple videos with Elder Scrolls Lore, because I used the editing software to record the audio, it's been really choppy, and I've had to do re-records of it, re-record everything, and it's been really weird lately. So if for lore videos, if they take a little bit longer to come out and make, I'm usually pretty good being on time with them, but if they take a bit longer to come out, like if they come out later times now than usual, don't be surprised, because I'm trying to make sure the audio quality is good. So there's that, but I want to make a shout out to the podcast. It's back on HB Productions channel. Due to time constraints, we kind of had to restrict it and limit it to the one episode, but now that we're back, we have our schedules are more freed up, and so we're going to be trying our best to get that out there. Feel free to check it out. The first episode was super fun to make, honestly. It's a lot of fun. I just go check it out. I put it up on the Discord chat, the link, so if you want to go see it, you can. With that being said, with the new lore series and community recommended videos, they got put on the back burner there because the community recommended videos right now are kind of something I have to do a bit more research into. So it's that time of year where things have come, like exams, papers, and a lot of other stuff has been coming up, so I've kind of had to put everything like that in the back burner. But once I have more time coming up, I will gladly hop back over to them. But with that, today we're going to be talking about the Accession War. So while researching this topic, one of the first things that actually came up was Imperial Knowledge's video on it that came out in December of 2017. And what that video actually did, it was provide me with a pretty good format of how to structure this video. So basically, this is something kind of like where we have A and C, but we don't necessarily have B, so we kind of have to interpret it the best way we can. That being said, going into a little bit of a background, because that's I think what is needed to do for this video. The Dunmer have a long history of enslaving Argonians because they essentially believe the Argonians are inferior. But sometime in the Third Era, this thing called the Oblivion Crisis happened. It's a minor thing, I know. It's something that not a lot of people know about. But basically, this whole thing happened, and the Daedra invaded and tried to kill everybody. And the Hist, this tree of life that did a video on, you should go I recommend you go watch it, called all Argonians, or a lot of Argonians, back to Blackmarsh to help fight against the Oblivion Crisis, or I guess a fight against the Daedra, right? So they came back and they did this, and they had this massive army, and they were very well trained at that point as well, because the Hist was able to communicate and tell them and train them, and it was very well organized and well structured, and they ended up actually fighting off the Oblivion, or closing the Oblivion gates relatively well and quickly and effectively. Now, when that was done, it was not long after where the Red Year happened and severely weakened Morrowind, and all of Ardenfell was destroyed. So a year after the Red Year was the year 6 of the Fourth Era, and the An-Xileel invades under the orders of the Hist, and maybe some Thalmor influence. We don't really know about that for sure, though. And they go in, and it's most likely, this is where my interpretation of what potentially could have happened, obviously. I believe they probably launched a staging post in Thorn and probably launched a campaign north into Tyr. And Tyr is in the swamps, so it's an easy place for the Argonians to battle. And this was most likely a slaughter, because one of the reasons the Argonians went to war was revenge for the centuries of slavery. Now, it's also because I believe the Argonians had the strongest military might, and they wanted to prove to the rest of Tamriel that they were just as an effective a fighting force than the rest of Tamriel. And so they went in and just slaughtered the Dunmeri, and the Dunmeri, being caught by surprise, stood no chance. Now, from here, it's most likely that they would have went to Narcissus, Narcissus being the capital of the Deshan region, and now this would give them a staging ground to hold all of that region, to be able to control the whole region from there, as well as that would be also somewhat in the south as well, where the swamps are. It's kind of where the swamp meets kind of this valley-esque area. So it's most likely that's where they went next, and they conquered that region as well. This is where the point where I kind of think that Imperial Knowledge and I will differ. Imperial Knowledge's video, he states that they most likely went on to kind of just shame the Dunmer and show them that they can destroy Mournhold for the sake of destroying Mournhold. I think it's more of a show of force, and I think it's to show the Dunmer that they're not as invincible as they think they are. They're not as good as they think they are. So rather in terms to just go in and be like, and go in and humiliate them, it's go in to say, look, the Dunmer think we're nothing, and you guys have been allowing this to happen forever, the rest of Tamriel. This is a show of force. This isn't a show of humiliation. This is a show of, I am better than all of you, and for the centuries worth of crap our province has gotten and our species have gotten, this is what you have in store for you if you keep thinking that way. That's what I think it is. And so they go in and sack Mournhold, and as we know, they do that, and the capital of Morrowind is now switched from Mournhold to Blacklight. And House Lalu, who's also a big supporter of the Empire, they're also kind of ousted from the great houses of Morrowind after this as well. So it's most likely here, and this is where we get the actual first battle. Somewhere near Mournhold, a House of Redoran army comes in and actually meets them in battle to a stalemate. We don't necessarily know who wins. It's most likely a very bloody and a very indecisive battle where the two sides most likely back off, and that's where we end up at the end here. Now, in Imperial Knowledge, and I do agree with this here, he states that they most likely, the Argonian army was headed for Necrom, and that makes sense. It's a House Dress owned city, and House Dress has the long history of slavery there. And so it's most likely they were headed there. And it's also the closest city they can reach by land. I don't really think they were headed for anywhere on Vvardenfell. Vvardenfell being destroyed at this point. And now granted, this isn't Vvardenfell, you know, in 201 of the Fourth Era. It's Vvardenfell a year after the Red Year. So it's not anywhere rebuilt or anything like that. So I do believe they were headed to Necrom. It is the closest city they could reach on land just by marching. So it's most likely that they were, and that's where they were stopped. So I believe they most likely retreated, the An-Xileel that being, retreated back to Narsis and kind of consolidated their region, their region now. So at this point we don't really know what happened in terms of the war, right? We don't know who won or who lost. We know that the Argonians still hold that land. So either A, there was a treaty where the Argonians kind of were able to keep that land, or B, that war is still going on. Now, the war took a great toll out of Morrowind, and the Dunmer were forced to flee and were scattered across all of Tamriel. To actually help remedy this crisis, the High King of Skyrim granted refugees the island of Solstheim for future use, and yet you still see, despite this, you still see a wide range of refugees flooding into Riften and Windhelm, and even Winterhold at this time. It's actually pre-collapse Winterhold, so we don't have that massive emptiness of Winterhold. But with that being said, that is all we actually have. There's not much else we know about this. Do you agree or disagree with my theories? Obviously, this is something where, you know, we don't have much on. Like I said earlier, I guess we have A and C, we don't have B. So what do you guys think? I want to know your guys' opinion in the comments below or in the Discord chat. And as always, if you have any recommendations, please feel free to let me know, and I'll get to them as quick as I can. I have the list in my phone where I have the recommended videos at the top. So I will get to that as quick as I can. And with that being said, as always, please like and subscribe, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully no more audio problems. I'm really sick of having audio problems. I'm listening to every video, making sure, and I'm sure you can tell at some points where the audio kind of like gets a little choppy. That's where it's happening, and that's the good thing, right? Like the stuff where you hear that's slightly choppy, that's acceptable to me. Where I'm like, okay, I'm done trying to redo this. It's fine. You can still understand what I'm saying. There's parts where it literally just like. And I'm like, okay, I can't have that, right? And so it's real annoying, but hopefully I fix that later. So I will see you guys around. Peace.